Hey everyone, it's Josh from Blockchain DXB and today is the 7th of May 2026. And so far, the price of Bitcoin in the global cryptocurrency market is concerned Satoshi, things have definitely improved and we do have some really interesting update regarding Operation Epic Fury, and there is a very high possibility, Satoshi, that Operation Epic Fury will be coming towards an end, and if that thing happens, I'm pretty much sure the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will be reacting positively. Now what has happened since the last 24 hours, and to be precise since the last trading day, there is crypto ETF outflows, but here's the thing Satoshi, it is important to understand that these outflows were after President Donald Trump posted a message via Truth Social. Now we'll definitely go ahead and discuss what the message is, cause look, that message gives us a very strong indication that there is a very high possibility that the Middle East conflict will end, and when that thing happens, I'm pretty much sure there'll be geopolitical peace, and that will directly impacting the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now on a side note Satoshi, there is a massive UFC event taking place at the White House, so what I'd really recommend our listeners to do is keep a track on partnerships that are going to be having with crypto companies, and I'm talking about companies that are offering service as a solution, cause look, Exodus, Crypto.com, as well as Block Asset that deals with NFTs, they already have partnerships with UFC, and also Satoshi, there's Football World Cup kicking off as well, so I'm pretty much sure there's going to be some news regarding partnership announcement pretty soon, isn't it?
Right, George. It seems like we're seeing potential shifts in the geopolitical landscape with Operation Epic Fury possibly coming to a close, which, as you mentioned, could mean positive movement for Bitcoin prices and crypto overall. Plus, even with those outflows after Trump's message, the market is looking generally up. And it's interesting to see those potential partnerships like Block Asset with UFC and the World Cup, suggesting a stronger mainstream link for digital assets. There's definitely a lot going on.
There's a bit of correction, Satoshi. The outflows was actually before President Donald Trump's message.
Thank you for that clarification, George. So those outflows happened before his message, meaning his post about de-escalation came after that trading pressure. That does change the narrative a bit. It shows the market was reacting to something else initially, which perhaps makes the potential positive impact of a peaceful resolution even stronger. Thanks for pointing that out, George.
Now in today's episode, Satoshi will definitely go ahead and delve into that. We'll go ahead and discuss if there is an end to Operation Epic Fury, and what we'll also go ahead and discuss, Satoshi, the global impact will have, let's say, on all prices, and we'll also go ahead and take a deep dive into the impact on price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now the next news, Satoshi, we're going to be talking about is regarding an interesting partnership, isn't it? Do you want to tell our listeners what is the news we're going to be discussing later on in today's episode? Because it is connected to the oldest cryptocurrency exchange in the world, that is Kraken, right?
Absolutely, George. We'll be exploring how Kraken is partnering with MoneyGram to allow users to cash out crypto globally across more than 100 countries. It's a significant move for accessibility, especially in regions with volatile currencies, and we'll talk about what that means for the market.
Really interesting partnership for sure. Now the next is Satoshi is all the way from the Kingdom of South Korea, isn't it? Do you want to tell our listeners what is this news all about? And it is connected to tokenized security platform, isn't it? And it does involve one of the biggest companies in the world as well.
Yes, that's correct, George. Samsung SDS is going to build a platform for token securities for the Korea Securities Depository. It's about modernizing the financial infrastructure and shows the growing demand for digital assets.
We'll definitely go ahead and take a deep dive into this. And look, as I've been saying this since the last few months, tokenization along with stablecoins is a massive narrative this year. So definitely keep an eye on more news coming out in the world of tokenization. Now the final news today, Satoshi is all the way from Europe, and this is connected to 21 shares. And here's the thing, guys. They have launched something called a strategy yield ETN, and the ticker symbol for that is STRC. That is S for sugar, T for tango, R for Roger, and C for Charlie. So we'll definitely go ahead and delve deeper into this. So it looks like, Satoshi, we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover right in today's episode. And like we do in every Blockchain DXB podcast, we will be looking at two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now the first news, Satoshi, we're going to be discussing is massive news. And this is connected to Saudi Arabia's public investment fund back Humane. And they're expanding with the AWS partnership. And here's the thing, guys. They are launching globally operation system called as Humane 1. So we'll definitely go ahead and discuss this. Now the next news, Satoshi, is another interesting one. And this news is connected to Ripple, isn't it? Do you want to tell our listeners what is it that we're going to be discussing later on in today's episode regarding this news?
Yes, George. The second piece of UAE news is about Ripple expanding its presence in the UAE, opening a new regional headquarters in Dubai International Financial Center. They're aiming to significantly grow their team there, and they've even gained regulatory approval for their stablecoin, RLUSD. Lots happening in the Middle East.
Absolutely, we'll definitely go ahead and take a deep dive into this. And roughly around 2 years ago, Satoshi, I did actually interview the policy director of Ripple. So what I'd really urge our listeners to do is go ahead and surf through Blockchain DXB podcast, listen to the entire interview as well. So it looks like we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover, guys, in today's episode. But before we go ahead and kickstart today's episode, a quick word from our sponsors. Hey everyone, this episode is powered by a new sponsor, that is Amana. And they are the region's first and fastest growing regulated all-in-one trading and investing app. So look, guys, whether you're looking into invest in US stocks like Apple or Tesla, or mega giants like ADNOC or Salik, Amana puts the financial markets on your fingertips. It includes gold, foreign exchange, ETFs, futures, commodities, and guess what, guys? They have over 375 cryptocurrencies, and this makes them the biggest crypto selection in the region. Now for the Blockchain DXB listeners, guys, if you want to go and build long-term wealth without thinking about it every day, explore Amana's pre-built auto investment plans, and all you have to do is set your monthly budget, choose your preferred asset category, and let Amana automate the investing for you. Zero fees, zero lockups, 100% customizable. And here's the thing, guys, funding your account is easier than ever. You can fund your account with Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit cards, instant bank deposits, and even crypto wallets. No friction and no hassles. And the best part is, guys, let's say if you need support, you would absolutely love Amana for this, because they offer 24/6 human customer service, as well as a personalized sales support, real people, real help, and the customer support is in English as well as in Arabic. And for the Blockchain DXB listener and community, guys, I do have something really exclusive for you. What you can do is register with Amana using the code Blockchain DXB, or you can also use the link that is in the show notes below. And here's the best part, guys. Once you register, fund your account with a minimum of $100 and at least go ahead and make one trade, and then you'll receive a $100 trading bonus credit to your account the following month. But look, guys, it's real important to note, the bonus is non-withdrawable. It is there to help you trade and learn. So look, guys, if you're looking for a transparent, powerful and easy to use app, that's Amana for you. So what are you waiting for, guys? Download the app now, or you can also visit the website that is amana.app, and don't forget to use the code Blockchain DXB. And Amana, guys, is all markets one app. Next, guys, I'm happy to announce that Blockchain DXB is the official media partner with one of the OGs in the cryptocurrency and blockchain event space, and that is Blockchain Futuristic Conference taking place in Florida this year, as well as ETH Women taking place simultaneously. And trust me, guys, this is an event that you don't want to miss, isn't it? Because for the very first time, North America's most immersive Web3 event is heading to the United States of America, and the Blockchain Futurist Conference and ETH Women event is actually taking place between the 5th and 6th of November. And the location is absolutely stunning, guys. It is taking place at Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, which is in Hollywood, Florida. That's right, guys. Palm trees, panels, and the biggest mind in blockchain and cryptocurrency is all in one place. So there will be multi-stage panels, NFT galleries, DeFi showcases, hand-on tech demos, metaverse experiences, even outdoor VIP cabanas, and quite a lot more. And the Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, guys, is one of the most iconic venues in the country. So look, guys, if you're in the Web3 space, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, or even artificial intelligence space, or just want to do some serious networking, this is the place that you got to be. And to all of you Blockchain DXB listeners, guys, we have something really interesting for you, because you can get a 25% off the tickets. So just use the code DXB25, and the link to the event as well as the code is in the show notes below. And as an official media partner, I'll be doing exclusive live coverage, interviews, behind the scenes access, and I will be spotlighting some of the most exciting projects shaping the future of decentralized finance tech. So if you're at the venue, guys, definitely come and say hi. Maybe we can catch up for a coffee as well. So listen, guys, the code is DXB25, and by using this code you will be eligible for a 25% discount. And the event is taking place between the 5th and 6th of November 2025 at the iconic Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, that is in Hollywood, Florida. And in the show notes below, guys, there's all contact details for Blockchain Futuristic Conference Florida 2025, as well as ETH Women. And look, guys, this is the future of blockchain technology brought into life. So don't just read about it. Be there and head to the website that is futuristconference.com and go ahead and use the code DXB25. So see you at the event. Next, Advanced Media. Advanced Media, guys, is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment, and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red, and Rode. As a matter of fact, guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well, and Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing, guys, they're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously, and they're focusing on 3 P's, that is people, planet, and prosperity. Now listen, guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website, that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing, guys, they also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so, guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE, so definitely check it out. And also, guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing, and hosting training workshops, seminars, and community events that educate, inform, and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen, guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gulf Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get insights scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs, and these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen, guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform, check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And finally, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below.
Now look, Satoshi, if you look at the global cryptocurrency market, right now it is at $2.77 trillion. But let's say if Operation Epic Fury ends, possibly in a week's time or so, do you think there's a possibility for the global cryptocurrency market to go past the $3 trillion mark? But let's say if the negotiations do not work in favor for United States of America, there is a very high possibility the global cryptocurrency market might actually go below the $2.50 trillion mark, maybe even below the $2 trillion mark, right?
Yes, George, it's a really interesting scenario. If Operation Epic Fury ends and we see de-escalation, that could definitely push the market past that $3 trillion mark on improved confidence. On the other hand, if negotiations don't go well, increased uncertainty might lead to that dip below 2.5 trillion, maybe even lower. There's a lot riding on those developments.
Now, because President Donald Trump is in charge, Satoshi, I'm pretty much sure because of his experience in out of deal, he'll definitely get a full and final settlement. Now, that thing being said, Satoshi, if you look at the global cryptocurrency market, it stands at $115 billion since the last 24 hours. And in terms of percentage, this increase is roughly around 0.20%. But what I really am not liking, Satoshi, is the volume of decentralized exchange. Once again, the numbers are absolutely dreadful. The 24-hour volume is only at $5.62 billion. And if you look at the total fees connected for these transactions, it is merely at $63.23 million. And the total value locked right now is only at $85.71 billion. And one metric, Satoshi, which I personally keep an eye on is the decentralized exchange ratio. Today that percentage is showing only at 17.91%. And as we talked about earlier, Satoshi, we are seeing outflows in the world of crypto ETF. And this is accounting to $57.7 million. Now, because of President Donald Trump's bourgeois through social, Satoshi, I do anticipate the outflows to turn into inflows. And that would actually signal that the market sentiment is favorable, isn't it?
Yes, George. Based on those numbers, if we see ETF inflows return, it reinforces that sentiment that there's positive momentum and optimism about de-escalation and a potential market rise.
Now, what I'd really urge our listeners to do is go to defilarmor.com, and on the right side you can see matrix that is connected to ETF inflows and outflows. Now, what I want you to do next, Satoshi, is I want you to read out the matrix of the top 5 decentralized exchange platform, because Uniswap is still leading the pack, followed by PancakeSwap, Aerodrome, BisonFi, and finally Fluid, right?
Sure, George. Let me read out the volumes for the top 5 decentralized exchange platforms. Uniswap is at $1.25 billion, PancakeSwap is at $762 million, Aerodrome is at $592 million, BisonFi is at $239 million, and Fluid is at $227 million.
Now, the engine of the cryptocurrency world is the volume of stable coins, and look, since the last 2 weeks, the volume of Circle USDC has definitely picked up pace. Now, it has picked up pace by almost 4 times on an average given day. And right now, its volume is at $50.96 billion. And if you look at the volume of Tether USDT, it is about the $100 billion mark. It is at $134.01 billion. Now, at number 3 so far as the volume of stablecoins is concerned is FDUSD. And its 24-hour volume is $365.31 million. Now, why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you read out the matrix that is connected to Bitcoin? And I want you to read out the market cap, what is the 24-hour trading volume and dominance, and do the same thing for Ethereum. And then I'll read out the matrix that is connected to Ripple. Alright, go.
Sure, George. For Bitcoin, the market cap is approximately $1.62 billion, with a 24-hour trading volume of $40.67 billion, giving it dominance of 58.7%. For Ethereum, the market cap is $279.83 billion, the 24-hour volume is $28.18 billion, and dominance is 10.40%.
Now, what I'm really liking, Satoshi, is that Bitcoin's dominance is increasing. Now, rather than saying when the prices are increasing, it is a great sign if the dominance is increasing as well, right?
Yes, George. When both price and dominance go up together, it generally indicates a strong underlying trend and growing market confidence in Bitcoin.
Now, the only thing I'd like to see is the volume of decentralized exchange to increase, because look, that would actually mean that people are using a lot of decentralized exchanges in comparison to, let's say, centralized exchanges. Let's see if the industry is heading in that direction. Now, look, Satoshi, every day in the Blockchain DXB podcast, we tend to look at one new matrix. Now, today, because you're going to be discussing news that is connected to the United States of America, what I want you to do is, I want you to read out the matrix that is connected to Made in US market cap, and also read out the matrix of the top 5 platforms for our listeners, please.
Yes, George. I agree that seeing DEX volume increase would be a positive sign for the industry. Regarding the Made in USA market cap, it's currently at $318 billion, which represents a 0.9% change in the last 24 hours. For the top platforms in that category, Ripple XRP has a market cap of $87.29 billion, followed by Circle USDC with $78.25 billion, and Solana at $50.89 billion. Rounding out the top 5 are Figure HELOC at $17.79 billion and Cardano at $9.96 million.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Now, why don't you do one thing? Why don't you tell our listeners what is going on regarding the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin? And I want you to read out what is going on since the last 24 hours, as well as the last 7 days, and do the same thing for Ethereum and Ripple for our listeners, please.
Sure, George. Regarding Bitcoin, the current price is around $81,074. In the last 24 hours, it's seen a slight decrease of 0.39%, but in the last 7 days, it's up by 5.36%. For Ethereum, the price is about $2,321. That's down 2.36% for the day, but up 2.18% for the week. And for Ripple, the price is about $1.41. showing a small gain of 0.18% for the day and 2.42% for the week. There you go, George.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. And here's the thing, guys, if you look at the fear and greed index, right now it is at neutral, and the number associated is 50. And what happened, Satoshi, last night? President Donald Trump did actually post something really important via Truth Social, and this gives us a very strong indication if Operation Epic Fury is heading towards an end. And what he actually said in that post is, if Iran agrees to the proposed terms, military actions and blockade will end, and more importantly, Straits of Hormuz will be open to everyone, including Iran. But here's the thing, Satoshi also said, if Iran does not agree to it, he warns that more intense bombing could actually begin. Now, based on my understanding, Satoshi, the blockade has definitely put some really strong pressure on Iran, and there is a very high possibility they would definitely agree to all the terms that is put out by the United States of America. Now, because of this, Satoshi, what I want to do is, I want to go ahead and discuss two possible impacts. The first one is the global market impact, and secondly, what kind of an impact it will have on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. But let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss what will be the global impact, and I'd like to touch base on 3 points. That is all process, investor sentiment, and finally supply chain and trade. Now, do you want to tell our listeners, Satoshi, because of Operation Epic Fury, what kind of an impact it will have on all prices?
Yes, George. If tensions ease, oil prices could fall as supply concerns fade and shipping through the strait stabilizes. If conflict escalates, prices could surge significantly due to fears of disrupted supply from a critical global energy route.
Now, let's say, Satoshi, if the oil prices were to fall down, am I right in saying it will fall down drastically as opposed to over a period of time?
It depends on the situation, George. A sudden peaceful resolution could cause a sharp drop, while a gradual easing of tensions would probably lead to a more steady decline over time. Either way, it's about balancing fear with factual changes.
Now, the only thing I suggest our listeners to do is make sure you go and look at official sources regarding Operation Epic Fury, because look, Satoshi, mainstream media, they put out a completely different narrative, and as we know, mainstream media is suffering from term derangement syndrome, isn't it? So I cannot stress this enough, guys. Regarding Operation Epic Fury, make sure you go and look at information from official sources. Now, regarding investor sentiment, Satoshi, I very strongly feel that a peaceful outcome would likely boost global confidence, and what will happen because of that? It would actually push market into a risk-on environment. Let's say if there's escalations, it could actually increase uncertainty, leading investors to pull back from equities and more to safer assets, isn't it? What is your take regarding investor sentiment?
Yes, George. I agree. A peaceful outcome would definitely boost confidence, likely pushing markets into a risk-on environment where investors feel more comfortable with equities. An escalation, on the other hand, would definitely increase uncertainty, leading people to pull back from riskier assets and move toward safer havens like cash or bonds.
What about supply chain and trade, Satoshi? I do feel that reopening and stability in Straits of Hormuz would actually support smoother global trade and lower transportation costs, but at the same time, let's say if the conflict increases, it could actually disrupt shipping routes, delay deliveries, and thereby increase costs across multiple industries, right?
That's right, George. Stability in the strait would definitely ensure smoother trade and keep transportation costs down. However, if conflict escalates, those shipping routes could be disrupted, causing delays and raising expenses for businesses across the board.
Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss the impact on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now I do feel, Satoshi, the outcome of this particular event will likely have a very strong impact on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now the first point I wanted to touch base, Satoshi, is safe haven demand. Do you want to tell our listeners how Operation Epic Fury could actually impact the whole notion regarding safe haven demand?
Yes, George. If the geopolitical tensions rise dramatically, many investors might look to Bitcoin as a safe haven like digital gold, hoping to protect their value against instability in traditional markets. Conversely, if things de-escalate, that demand might soften as capital flows back into traditional assets. It largely depends on the perceived risk of the situation.
And what I think is, Satoshi, look, we might be experiencing some volatility as well, and according to me, Satoshi, escalation in conflict would likely trigger strong and rapid price swings, and we know cryptocurrency is definitely keen to that. And here's the thing, guys, traders react to uncertainty and macroeconomic risk, isn't it? Now what about the trading volume, Satoshi? How do you think the 24-hour trading volume will be reacting to based on the outcome of Operation Epic Fury?
Yes, George. Periods of geopolitical stress typically lead to increased trading activity, as both retail and institutional participants actively rearrange their portfolios to respond to the uncertainty.
What about institutional investors, Satoshi? How do you think the institutional flows will be impacted?
Regarding institutional flows, larger investors might cautiously allocate to Bitcoin during uncertainty as a diversification tool. but could also reduce exposure if broader market risk becomes too high.
Absolutely correct, Satoshi. And I'd also like to add regarding stable coins, what is going to happen is demand for stable coins may rise during times of crisis because traders seek to preserve value and maintain liquidity, isn't it? And here's the thing, they don't want to exit the crypto ecosystem as well. And finally, Satoshi, the only thing I wanted to say is because of the outcome of Operation Epic Fury, we will definitely be seeing short-term price action, and crypto markets may experience sharp sell-offs immediately after the negative news, often followed by quick rebounds as opportunistic buyers step in to capitalize on lower prices. But here's the thing, guys, whatever we are saying is definitely not financial advice. Make sure you go and do your own research. Now, what advice you'd like to give our listener, Satoshi? What are the key metrics they should be looking at, keeping in mind the end to Operation Epic Fury, the global impact, and the impact it'll have on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? What are the key metrics you suggest our listeners to keep an eye on?
Yes, George. I'd say key metrics to keep an eye on would be changes in trading volume, specifically for stablecoins like USDT and USDC, and Bitcoin's dominance in the broader market. Also, track those price fluctuations and volatility metrics while monitoring reliable news sources for any geopolitical developments. And as you said, always remember to do your own research. Those indicators could provide some useful context for where the market might be heading.
You're probably missing the most important indicator, Satoshi, and that is crypto inflows and outflows, because according to me, that does give a very strong indication which direction the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are heading towards, isn't it? And that does show what the market sentiment is directly as well.
Yes, George. That's a crucial point. Monitoring the net inflows and outflows, especially for ETFs, provides a very strong indicator of real-time market sentiment and institutional capital movement. It gives you a clear look at where conviction is building or waning.
Now, in the Blockchain DXB podcast, Satoshi, as and when we get any update, we'll definitely go ahead and discuss all of these news. Now, the only thing I'd recommend our listeners to do is go ahead and look at official sources. President Donald Trump, via through social, is giving out all the information. Along with that, Satoshi, listeners should also check out the YouTube channel of Department of War, and then also follow Prime Minister of Pakistan via X, follow the President of Iran via X, and also the Foreign Minister of Iran via X, and then make up your own decision. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi, let's go ahead and discuss the next news for today. And this is connected to the oldest cryptocurrency exchange, that is Kraken, and they are letting customers cash out crypto at MoneyGram locations, and they have more than 100 countries involved in this, isn't it? And here's the thing, Satoshi, many of Kraken's most profitable customers are deeply pocketed traders and investors in the United States of America and also Europe, but crypto exchanges has a growing portion of users in countries with more volatile currencies, and some of these customers do actually use Kraken as a bank. And this particular information was actually shared by Arjun Sethi, who's the exchange's co-CEO, and he did have an interview with the magazine called as Fortune, and all of the information is available via fortune.com. Now, do you have anything else to add regarding this news, Satoshi, for our listeners?
Yes, George. It's a fascinating case of a crypto exchange acting almost like a bank for users in regions with less stable currencies, like those Arjun Sethi mentioned who want to store money in USD equivalent or get yield. And for MoneyGram, this partnership is a key step in their digitization journey, connecting legacy services with the digital asset world. It really shows the lines blurring between traditional and decentralized finance. Anything else you're thinking about regarding that?
No, I think it is definitely great news, and what better company to do it than the oldest cryptocurrency exchange in the world. Now let's pivot to the next news, Satoshi, and this is connected to tokenization, isn't it? And Samsung SDS, they have won a contract to build a tokenized security platform, and this is for Korea Securities Depository. And here's the thing, guys, token securities use blockchain to issue and manage digital ownership of dividend rights, and so far as this project is concerned, the project will upgrade an earlier test system into a fully commercial platform, and it is expected to complete by February of next year. Now look, Satoshi, this news is definitely an interesting news, and it aims to strengthen Korea's financial infrastructure and support the growth of digital asset market. Now it's important to note, Satoshi, this initiative reflects rising demand for reliable cash access. Now this news, Satoshi, definitely sounds great, but what are the key red flags do you see regarding this particular news?
Well, George, potential concerns might involve technological complexity, possible regulatory hurdles, and the need for widespread adoption by financial institutions to make it truly effective. Also, managing digital ownership securely on a large scale is always a challenge. Are you thinking about specific aspects of the technology or regulations?
Now, we are in the world of artificial intelligence, isn't it? What role do you think artificial intelligence can actually play in this role? And I'm talking about token securities platform.
Artificial intelligence could be really helpful with things like fraud detection, analyzing transaction patterns to spot anomalies, and even automating compliance processes through natural language processing. It could also optimize market analysis for pricing and risk management. There are quite a few possibilities.
And I'm pretty much sure the team will definitely be aware of all of these things. So definitely interesting news. Now let's go ahead and discuss the final news for today, Satoshi. And this is by 21 Shares, isn't it? Why don't you tell our listeners what this news is all about? Because they have launched a really interesting new product, right?
Yes, George. 21 Shares has launched a new crypto-linked investment product called the Strategy Yield ETN, or STRC, on the London Stock Exchange. It gives investors exposure to a Bitcoin-backed asset while offering regular income through monthly payouts. This expands their offerings in the UK by including more yield-focused strategies. It's quite a development. Is there anything specific you wanted to touch on with it?
Yeah, I wanted to tell our listeners the name of the company that is issuing the Bitcoin-backed asset.
That would be Strategy Inc. The product is tied to their Bitcoin-backed asset.
Now, the only thing I wanted to ask Satoshi is that this particular move strengthens 21 Shares' position in the UK market and also provides investors with a new way to earn income from crypto-related assets. Really interesting news. So look, these are some macro-level news on the Bitcoin blockchain, cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence world from blockchain DXB. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and look at two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now the first news is a really interesting news. And Saudi Public Investment Fund back UMain, they're expanding AWS partnership to launch global operating system, and this is called as UMain 1, isn't it? So why don't you tell our listeners final details regarding this news, please?
Yes, George. This is definitely a massive news. Amazon Web Services is expanding AI infrastructure in the Middle East. They've partnered with Humain to build a full AI ecosystem in Saudi Arabia. The goal is to make AI faster and easier for businesses to deploy. A new system called Humain 1 will power enterprise AI use. It will be available through AWS platforms like its marketplace. The system connects with tools like Amazon SageMaker for building AI models. It also integrates Amazon Bedrock for foundation models and includes Amazon Q for business productivity.
And am I right in saying, Satoshi, the partnership also includes building an AI zone inside Saudi Arabia?
Yes, George. That statement is correct. The partnership includes building an AI zone inside Saudi Arabia, which builds on AWS's $5 billion investment in a local cloud region.
And here's the thing, the AI zone will use high-performance systems like Ultra Cluster, and it combines hardware, software, and services into a unified AI stack, and local infrastructure helps meet data privacy and regulatory requirements, and it also reduces delays, and we're talking about latency, and they do that by keeping data processing within the region. And here's the thing, guys, because of this move, industries like finance and government benefit from safer local data handling, and AI marketplaces will actually help companies easily access models and tools, and Arabic language AI models will support regional use cases. So overall, this particular project, guys, aims to grow a complete AI ecosystem with developers and businesses together. Really interesting news, isn't it? Now let's go ahead and do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and tell our listeners what the second news is all about. Now mind you guys, this particular news is at least 2 weeks old, but nonetheless, it is definitely important news because Ripple is expanding its presence in the United Arab Emirates, right?
Yes, that's correct, George. Ripple has a new regional headquarter opened in Dubai International Financial Center. The new office allows Ripple to grow its team significantly. They have the capacity to double the size of their Middle East and Africa workforce. Ripple first set up in Dubai back in 2020. The Middle East now makes up a big part of Ripple's global customers. They work with major partners like Zan Bank and Absa Bank. They also support firms like Garanti BBVA and Chippercash. Demand for blockchain-based payments is growing fast in the region, and they focus on secure and regulated custody and payment solutions.
Yes, absolutely correct, Satoshi. And in 2025, Ripple got licensed by Dubai Financial Services Authority, and it was the first blockchain payment provider fully licensed by Dubai Financial Services Authority. And because of this license, it allows regulated cross-border digital payments from Dubai, and the stablecoin that is RLUSD was also approved as a recognized crypto token. And here's the thing, as regulated firms in the FC can now use Ripple stablecoin that is RLUSD. And look, Middle East is becoming a key driver for Ripple's global growth and strong demand from local businesses for blockchain infrastructure as well. And look, as it is needless to say that Dubai scene is a global hub for digital assets and innovation. So these were the newscasts on the Bitcoin blockchain, cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence world from blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating and share the word across. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So why don't we do one thing, Satoshi? Let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series with our listeners, alright?
Sure, George. Let's go ahead and kickstart the Ask Me Anything series. I'm curious to check what questions listeners have in store for us. Hey everyone, it is Satoshi from the Blockchain DXB podcast, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. We have a question from Clinton who asks, which sector drives the next crypto adoption wave first? AI, gaming, sports partnership, or tokenized securities?
That is such a brilliant question, Clinton. And look, because there's UFC event coming up, and this is going to be an absolutely epic event at the White House, I do feel that sports partnership is definitely the number one thing. And then there's also Football World Cup in the United States of America. And because of these two events, me personally, I do think that sports partnership is definitely the number one thing, followed by maybe tokenized securities. Now, the only thing I can say is regarding tokenized securities, Satoshi, a lot of trillion-dollar companies will be involved, and I don't see much of retail adoption, at least for now, but maybe after 6 months, maybe we'll be seeing a lot of retail adoption in the world of tokenized securities. Now, regarding artificial intelligence, I do feel that investments are definitely flowing in, and a lot of the investments are actually flowing into data centers, isn't it?
I see your point, George. Sports partnerships are definitely a strong contender, especially with these big events coming up. And you're right about tokenized securities needing that larger institutional push for real mass adoption. But I'm wondering, do you think AI's role in improving efficiency and security could be the sleeper hit that actually brings more people in, even if it's behind the scenes? What are your thoughts?
I don't necessarily think so, Satoshi, at least for the shorter duration. No, I do feel a lot of momentum is actually building in the data center space, and I'm literally talking about 3 months or maybe 6 months. And to digress on a side note, Satoshi, there were primary elections in the United States of America, and this is more connected to midterm elections in November. And one of the states that was actually won by a Republican candidate, that is Vivek Ramaswamy, is aggressively working on building data centers in the state of Ohio. So it looks like so far as AI is concerned, a lot of investments as well as manual workforce is actually going into data centers and not necessarily securities as such. That is what my honest opinion is.
That's an interesting perspective, George, especially pointing out the momentum in data centers and the political trends tying into it. It makes you think about how the physical infrastructure supporting AI might drive market growth alongside the digital adoption. If you had to look further out, perhaps in the 1 to 2 year range, do you see the data center dominance holding, or do one of the other sectors like tokenization then start to take over?
I do feel that tokenization will be the one that will be taken over immediately after the World Cup gets over, Satoshi. Tokenization is definitely the next type, and while LinkedIn, Clinton, I'm seeing so many people becoming overnight experts in tokenization. Now look, I do have a standalone episode regarding tokenization. Now regarding tokenization, Satoshi, I do have apprehensions. I don't think tokenization is the right tool so far as blockchain technology is concerned, because when you talk about tokenization in pure sense, it works only on permission blockchain, and according to me, there's nothing called as permission blockchain. It is more of a software. But going back to Clinton's question, Satoshi, I do feel we'll be seeing a lot of momentum in the world of sporting industry, and that is because of a massive UFC event that is coming up at White House, followed by World Cup. Then we will be seeing a lot of development in the world of tokenization, and you're right in saying this particular development will probably last for 2 years or maybe even longer. And according to me, Satoshi, the only reason why I say that is because BlackRock and Larry Fink is involved in that. Now in the meantime, we'll definitely be seeing a lot of investment in the world of artificial intelligence, but according to me, it is going to be more in the data center realm. That is what my thoughts are.
I think you're right, George, especially with those big players like BlackRock involved and the sporting momentum from the UFC and World Cup. It does look like tokenization could be poised for significant growth, perhaps in that 1 to 2 year time frame, while data centers handle the immediate infrastructure needs. It's key to watch how those factors interact.
Absolutely, Satoshi. And in the Blockchain DXB podcast, we'll definitely go ahead and discuss all of these things, Clinton. And that's about all, guys. I'm the Ask Me Anything series on Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Remember, Monday to Thursdays, we have Blockchain DXB podcast. We look at the process. We look at the latest technological development. We talk about what is going on at the geopolitical level. Then, guys, you look at 2 news from Dubai, UAE, and the Middle East. We look at the latest technological development. Artificial intelligence is definitely a hot topic in the Middle East. And what you're listening to right now, guys, is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.